Greetings, Craddock here. So let's talk about the Firebirds mirror image push build with the Oculus Ethereal. And this is going to be one of the most sought after and hardest to acquire ethereals in season. I guess it's fitting. It is also one of the highest pushing iterations. What are the benefits here of running the Oculus? Well, you get a lot of nice utility and toughness from the Oculus that's going to allow you to push higher at lower paragons. It's going to overall make you a little bit more defensible on your pushes, and you're able to kill elites a little bit more. So the focus here is going to be engaging elites. You can definitely kill trash rather readily with this build even still, but the focus will be on having at least one elite pack engaged at all times, right? So going over the affixes that the Oculus brings, you'll see that plus 100% damage to all wizard skills. Similar to the other push builds, this is just a multiplier to your sheet damage. It also has, notably, intelligence, vitality. These are great because at lower paragons, you won't need to have as many augments to perform very well. You'll still be able to have that nice base level of toughness, base level of int to clear higher and higher with. We also get all resistance, always nice. We have damage against elites, bringing our elite damage up to a total of 45%, very big. We have cooldown here, always needed for a Firebirds mirror image build, especially because we are running the Captain Crimson set. And you'll notice here that we have APOC. So a mirror image is going to proc APOC quite a lot, and when the range that we get here is 5 to 7, so it's quite more than you would get normally on your source. The cool thing about the APOC on the weapon though is that your source can be rolled to something different. So at lower paragons you might roll vitality here, but at higher paragons definitely go for that extra cooldown affix. This is my choice anyway. You could theoretically also go elite damage there, but I like the cooldown for sure. On the percent damage affix, goes up to 100, but starts at 75. It means that this weapon will be a little bit harder to acquire in season. That is going to be perfectly rolled, or close to perfectly rolled, if that makes any sense, especially since the pools for legendary affixes for the wizard are quite large. So getting either a Death Wish or a Explosive Blast, Orb of Infinite Depth power is going to be difficult with the right affix, right? For 5th passive, you can run either Blur or Conflagration. On the leaderboard, the combination of Mental Channeling and Conflagration won out, but at lower paragons, definitely running Blur instead just feels really nice and safe for this particular build. Now, similar to a lot of the other Firebirds push iterations, we are running the Frost Nova Bone Chill rune. Bone Chill is just going to give you more additive damage. It will stack with your Tegek, but it turns out that even if the uptime is only 2 seconds out of your entire COE window, this is enough benefit to slightly outweigh the Deep Freeze rune, especially against the Rift Guardian, which as you push higher and higher, the Rift Guardian will take longer and longer to kill, because again, we don't have Stricken in this build. We are running Enforcer as our 3rd gem to help keep our pets alive, and this does a decent job. They will still die off at these high-grade Rift levels, but it will keep them alive long enough and allow us not to have to focus so much on gearing vitality and life percent. We can focus more on our own survival. For example, here, this is a non-shielding build, so we're actually going to run either rubies or emeralds in our chest and pants. Having a nice base of 1.54 attacks per second allows your life per hit to restore quite nicely. Now, something to note here, at lower paragons, you're definitely going to want, since life per hit cannot be rolled on the ethereal, I actually advise putting it on one of your rings at lower paragons, just to help out a little bit more. You see here I have it on my convention of elements. But at higher paragons, you have the possibility of either swapping out that fourth affix on your glove for quad glove, so dropping the int that you would have on this item, or you can also, at higher paragons, alternately, roll life per head on the helmet. Now, helm is a little bit questionable because the secondary reduces duration of crowd control impairing effects is very desirable on this item, but you may find that this is easier to find than a quad glove, so thereby go this route instead. Note that you should sub a little bit more paragon since you are trading out the vitality on the helmet. Just place it in paragon instead. So one of the other things that we can do to pad our damage here is running the plus average damage affixes on both rings, especially when they're ancient. This will have a larger impact in our overall damage, quite nice. And then other affixes, resource cost reduction, cooldown on the shoulder piece, cooldown pretty much everywhere else. You can slot it, including the evocation. So we're running evocation. We are not running the enchantress, note. So for extra recovery, we are actually running the Templar for that nice big heal. You get a little bit of life per second, extra life per second from loyalty, but mostly we have the Templar here to help us stun enemies and heal us. And this cooldown is not going to be 30 seconds. It will be reduced pretty much by half as long as you put cooldown reduction on your Templar. It will affect the heal spell. It will not affect the second life passive, but we are going to get a second life passive through Guardian, which is also quite nice to have. The heal will be about 15 seconds, and it will feel like pretty much like you have 3 potions to use, because the heal will be going off automatically. You won't even have to think about it. Whenever you're taking those big hits from like chargers and multiple elite affixes, this is what's going to help keep your recovery in check. Now, notably, at lower paragons, you will want to run the follower cannot die token, but at higher paragons, you can actually spec out your follower with a lot of toughness items. So you still want to hit that 25k strength so that he can benefit max potential from all of his abilities. But after that, you can equip the esoteric and the mutilation guard after they've been leveled up on your follower, and possibly even augment your follower with extra vitality, as well as placing a lot of toughness affixes such as life percent, all resistance, diamonds, all this stuff to help keep him alive even without that follower cannot die token, to be able to benefit from the reduces cooldown of all follower skills by 50% token. This is pretty huge because it reduces your heal from about 15 seconds down to 7 or less, perhaps. You can see here the lowest possible is 5.65 second heal, which is a lot of recovery for this particular build, especially since it is already so tanky. You have so much elite damage reduction, you have so much damage reduction in general. Anyways, to optimize, you can with this build manually cast your flame blades, but it is a little bit more risky because our attack speed is still quite low. But overall, it's just a great build. You get the toughness from Orb of Infinite Depth, toughness from the Firebirds, a lot of recovery, a lot of healing, and it just plows through the rifts, especially good at tanking multiple elites, which means those conduits, those power pylons, you can really take advantage of your followers' Oculus ring spawns to deal extra damage to elites that have been grouped up nicely. So overall, I'm very excited about this build, even though it is fairly generic and feels very similar in playstyle to the current push build. It's still a good all-arounder, and I think a lot of players will enjoy this build. Anyways, hope you enjoy it. Take care.